You take it home.
This actually plays just right. Yeah, the keys there.
Comes the table.
I caught up with Nick DeCarlos at the Cornet Conspiracy meeting in Richmond, and Nick can tell us the story about how did the Cornet Conspiracy ever get started?
Well, in the late 1890s, a lot of us actually were bidding against each other on eBay for the same cornets. And in those days, you could actually figure out who the other person was who had just beat you out for the cornet that you had to have.
The person you wanted to kill.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But as we got to know each other through phone conversations and emails, we actually found out that we had so much in common that we had to get together and meet each other, and some of us did. Well, in 2001, I did a concert in Gainesville, Florida, a tribute to Bobby Hackett. And 1, 2, 3, 4 people said, we're going to come down to Gainesville and hear your concert. Well, I tried to tell them I'm not really that good of a player and they were going to be coming a long way for nothing, but they insisted on coming. Before I knew it, we had 15, 16 people coming to Gainesville for this concert, and I started to get nervous. So I said, well, why don't you bring your old cornets with you, and we'll have a luncheon, and we'll set up our collections, and we'll talk about our old horns. We did that, and before I knew it, we had over 400 cornets in one room for a luncheon. And we started hanging out, having dinner together, having beers together. And after about 3 days, somebody said, well, where are we going to do this next year? And we all looked at each other, what do you mean next year? And that's when it was born. Somebody said, well, we'll do it in Atlanta next year. And Niles Eldridge said, hey, we're going to call it the Cornet Conspiracy. The name stuck. And with only a couple of exceptions, we've done it every year since 2001.
So
I have the complete evolution of the con mutes, so I didn't bring them all here, but everybody probably knows this one, which came with cornets prior to, what would you say, Nick, about 1915?
Yeah, well,
Then they became
12, 13 in there.
Then they became the doorknob mutes with
Those
the
came
flat end.
with the circus boards usually.
Right. But I recently turned up the trombone equivalent of it,
Huh.
which is extremely rare. I've only seen one other, and that was interesting. Some of you attended years back. You might have seen this. This is made by a company called Megan and Meyer, and it was the saxonet. And the idea was that it blended in to your. The idea was to make the brasses blend into the saxophone section. Why you would want to do that is us.
It also makes you play sharp, right?
No, actually, there you go. Got me. Okay. Anyway, I had the trombone equivalent of it, and I knew that there was one out on that had sold on eBay because I'd snagged the pictures but hadn't gotten it, and I come to find out that John Eric Kelso had it, and he and I are friends, and so I sweet talked him for about a year, and he finally sold it to me because it should be with me.
2-valve, what'd you call it? Trumpetina. And the interesting thing on this thing, to me anyway, is that these levers, you hold it upside down, of course, but the levers are on both sides, so you can play left-handed, play with either hand, and still push the levers.
Well, that's so you can play two at the same time.
Yeah, double-handed. And the leaf springs are on little rollers, which that's most of these have it like that, but it's a neat little instrument. It's a full kit. It's got all the attachments and.
So what exactly is a trumpetina?
It's a small bore.
Small trumpet. At the time when it used F trumpets. F trumpet for the last 27, 28 years. And nobody's ever seen one. They offered it for sale from about 1882 until 1910, I believe, but none exist. So I blew up the engraving out of the catalog to what I thought was original size. In fact, I think there were 3 or 4 versions of this that I measured and played around until I figured out what was the right size. And I learned before recreating Steve Ward's pocket cornet that the engravings are surprisingly accurately scaled. They're not perfect, but they're surprisingly accurate, considered just an
Echo,
artist.
not pocket.
Huh?
Echo, not pocket.
Oh, echo cornet, yeah. I'm not a good speaker. So anyway, I realized it was the same as the Boston 3-star valve section, so I decided to recreate it. And the bell was Canstol. I had to make as big as they could make their Canstol Miha bell, and it just happened to be the best bell for a F trumpet. And Chris will tell you that it's a surprisingly good playing F trumpet.
This is the key bugle that I play, E-flat key bugle, Rob Stewart. According to Rob, this was the first playable E-flat that he made. Best playing one that he made.
Isn't it number 745 or something?
Yeah, this is only 162, but it's when he actually put the serial number up on the bell, which is too common.
So I guess the other 100 and whatever didn't play.
I've also have the first one that he made. It's missing all the. He parted it out. The keys are all missing, but and then I brought, in honor of Nick, I brought a little pocket cornet. This is a Martin Pullman, made in the 1870s. It's cute.
Made when?
Is that?
Made when?
1870s.
Ensemble when we play Civil War music. This is a Boston pocket solo alto. The solo alto was about 3 or 4 inches longer than this, and this got slight doubled back so that it makes it more compact. It's not a whole lot larger than a cornet in length. And it has original Boston mouthpiece. This is a Fisk, which is on my T-shirt here. This was the official cornet of the last conspiracy in Richmond, and this has one of the 3 valve arrangements that Fisk had. They had one that has all 3 valves lined up in the bottom, 3 rotary valves with push rods, and then they have this arrangement, and then they had another one that's a triangle with the apex of triangle up the top and the other 2 valves in the bottom, and that's the one I'm looking for. I haven't found one of those yet.
Looking at thing I'd ever seen. I said, Alan could, I looked at it and looked at it. I said, Alan couldn't have possibly made this, something to look like this. It looks okay, but again, if you look at it really closely, it was made of two different alloys of nickel silver. The valve section was one, and this middle section, the main tubing section where the taper was a slightly darker color. And I think it was Rob. We finally decided what happened to this thing. Yeah, again, this was converted from an over-the-shoulder, from this very same horn right here, into a bell front.